Have you ever felt like you're living someone else's life? Like the career, the lifestyle, even the dreams you chase aren't really yours, but the world's idea of who you should be? What if I told you that most of the rules you live by are invisible chains, not laws of nature, not divine orders, but just norms that people agreed on centuries ago? Today, we're going to uncover how to break free from those chains and live a life that's truly yours. The cage we don't see. Society doesn't handcuff us with metal. It handcuffs us with expectations. Go to school, get a job, buy a house, get married, have kids, retire. That's the blueprint. But what if you don't want that blueprint? What if your soul whispers something different? The ancient Greek philosopher Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Think about it. Most of us are not masters of ourselves. We're mastered by tradition, culture, gossip, and even Instagram trends. It's like living in a cage so large you don't realize you're trapped. Take John, for example. His dream was art, but everyone around him said, "Artists don't make money." So he studied accounting, got a job, and spent his 20s crunching numbers, while his sketchbook collected dust. He lived safely, but not freely. But what if the norms are wrong? Here's a bold question. What if society's rules are not only limiting, but flat, out wrong? Centuries ago, society said slavery was normal. Society said women couldn't vote. Society said the earth was flat. If we never questioned those norms, we'd still be in the dark ages. So why do we hesitate to question the smaller norms in our own lives? Like which job to choose, when to marry, or how to dress? Here's the catch. Norms often disguise themselves as truths. We hear them so often they feel like laws of gravity. For example, you're not successful unless you have a university degree. Marriage is a requirement, not a choice. Respect comes from money, not character. But when we look closer, these are not universal truths. They're just cultural agreements. As Lao Tzu once said, "Care about people's approval and you will be their prisoner." And he was right. Because when you obey these unwritten rules without reflection, you're trading your individuality for acceptance. Think about how much creativity has been lost because people were told, "That's not realistic." Think about how many entrepreneurs, artists, and inventors were discouraged because their dreams didn't fit the normal mold. The irony? Every person we admire today, Steve Jobs, Maya Angelou, Nelson Mandela, broke the norms of their time. Society first resisted them, then celebrated them. So ask yourself this. If you follow every rule society hands you, will you end up respected or just forgotten? The psychology of conformity. Psychologists call it the herd mentality. We copy because our brains are wired for belonging. In ancient tribes, if you didn't follow the group, you risked being abandoned and possibly eaten by a lion. But today, no lion is chasing you. Yet the fear of rejection is just as strong. There's a famous experiment from the 1950s, the Asch conformity test. A group of people was shown a set of lines on a board. The answer to which line was the longest was obvious. But when actors in the group gave the wrong answer, most participants followed along, even though their eyes told them otherwise. Why? Because humans would rather be wrong with the crowd than right alone. And this plays out in everyday life. You laugh at a joke you didn't find funny just because everyone else laughed. You buy the latest phone, even though yours works perfectly fine. You stay quiet in a meeting, even when you have a brilliant idea. The herd mentality convinces us that blending in is safer than standing out. But here's the paradox. The more you try to fit in, the more invisible you become. And invisibility is a high price to pay for comfort. Socrates once said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Conformity robs us of examination. It replaces curiosity with obedience. And slowly, without realizing it, we become echoes of others instead of the authors of our own story. Have you heard of this before? The samurai who refused the norm. Let me tell you about Miyamoto Musashi, Japan's legendary swordsman. At a time when honor and rigid rules defined the samurai, Musashi broke them all. He refused fancy armor, fought duels with wooden swords, and lived like a wanderer. People mocked him, but he became undefeated. 62 battles, never a loss. Why? Because he followed his own path, not the norm. Musashi's life reminds us, freedom doesn't come from obedience. It comes from authenticity. Practical steps to break free. Now let's bring this home. How do you break free from societal norms? 1. Question every must. Yes, question everything. Ask yourself, do I want this? Or was I told I should want it? 2. Redefine success, not cars, titles, or applause. Define it as peace of mind, love, impact, or whatever resonates with you. Don't rush. Think. 3. Start small acts of rebellion. Dress the way you like. Speak your truth in conversations. Take a risk on a passion project. 4. Silence the noise. Spend time away from constant opinions, social media, gossip, critics. In silence, you hear your voice. 5. Remember mortality. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. In the end, people's approval won't matter. Your happiness will." What if you don't break free? Imagine yourself at 80 years old looking back. Did you live your life or society's? This is the biggest regret people confess on their deathbeds. Not that they failed, but that they never dared to live differently. So, here's the truth. Societal norms are not unbreakable laws. They are agreements, written by people just like you. And agreements can be rewritten. The chains are invisible, but the key is in your hands. Drop the fear, drop the expectations, and live truly, unapologetically, freely. Because the world doesn't need another copy. It needs you. If this message resonated with you, don't just click away. Share it. Someone out there is waiting for permission to break free. And if you're ready for more enlightened conversations, hit subscribe and join this journey toward freedom of the mind. Remember, the bravest act you can ever commit is to live your truth.